What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. And unfortunately, we don't get the victory show as we wanted. And not even a draw to discuss. We suffered defeat yet again at the Maradona. The woes there continue. There is a million things to discuss on the backside of this game. A ton to tackle. The coach added so much more to this thing, even with just his words after the match. We've got a ton to break down. We're going to do it together with Trim and Mas. Fellas, how you doing today? Trim, how you doing?
A little tired, on call this weekend and into this week, so it's been rough. But I did get a chance to watch the match, luckily. I don't want to make it sound all doom and gloom.
After how
don't want to
out,
make it sound all
yeah.
doom and gloom, but not good. Not good today, that's for sure. Hate losing to those pricks.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. Mas, how you doing, brother?
The sky is falling, fellas. The sky is falling.
Easy.
Pandemonium everywhere. It's it always sucks the day after a loss. I haven't been on in a while, and I would have liked to have come on for a victory show, but it is what it is. Let's get into it.
That's pretty much it. It is what it is. We're gonna tackle it nonetheless, and we're gonna try to not go to the depths of hell with this thing, okay? Because these matches, like when you put up a dud in a big one, it hurts, it stings, and you keep wanting this turning of the corner, but the same obstacles, hurdles, roadblocks, whatever the hell you want to call it, keep coming up. But I just can't help but thinking about one thing when I talk about Juve over the past, I don't know how many years now. Self-sabotage stands out to me. And I think if there's one theme around this game and you want to put it forward, it's going to be self-sabotage, and we're going to get to it. I want to say what's up to the Army, who has been absolutely fantastic. As always, we still had a great match day weekend with the match day live, and then even in the watch along. You guys are amazing. Okay, congratulations to the kit winners yesterday, Adam Khan and Maddie, a long-time supporter who gets himself the home Yildiz kit. We also unveiled the latest kits that are going to be available for the month of December. I also have something for Natale, for Christmas, all right? That's a surprise. But these are the two up for grabs now, so take the time to smash that subscribe button. You got a third kit with Keenan Yildiz on the back, okay? The Star Boy. Finally got a decent celebration, by the way. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. And then for the AJC membership status holders that are in Legend tier,
ooh, class.
It's a nice one. Yeah.
120
clean.
anniversary. Okay, so hey, I never want to hear that we don't show you guys the love. Thank you for all your support. Okay, Mitch, Gene, Tony G, Adam Khan, Danny Oliveira, Ori Major, Gene in there, Danny Oliveira. Yeah, we got these guys. Who else? There's a ton of you. David Damzian in here. Michael G, always in here rocking live. Skippy as well. DR1L, it's great to have you guys in here. We even got Reno Z in here, okay? Zorro himself. Let's have some fun, okay? Let's have some fun. Starting lineups. The headlines today, very quiet, everybody, okay? And that has become typical as well, okay? They're just talking about all sorts of contradictions into the news you heard last week. Stuff with Jagrova, okay? He was kept out of training several times this past week. You're hearing he's very close. Look, let's just see. Let's just see. Enough with the headlines. Let's get to the game. Starting 11. Di Gregorio, Kalulu, Kelly, Co-Miners, Cambiaso, Locatelli, Thuram, Cabal, McKennie, Conceição, and Yildiz. Wow. Before we actually go too far in with this, actually sticking to just the moment where that starting lineup is unleashed. Let's not get to the game right now. We'll get to that afterwards. But all I could think was that is one crazy call. That is a bold move. And I thought we would see Yildiz as a false nine the way it ended up wanting to play out was Chico and Yildiz both up top, but that's a bold decision by Spalletti. And I said, dude, you're going to, and even with Cabal on the outside was a bold decision. Based on the fact he just got back, we haven't seen him enough. It's been a mixed bag. This is a big game. Man, I said, you're either going to look like a genius or you're going to hang yourself with this one. What were you guys thinking when you saw that? Trim, first reaction to seeing that starting 11.
Well, I didn't like it for a couple of reasons. Number one, the game and the magnitude of this match and how badly we needed points out of this match, specifically 3 points. I didn't see why you'd go to such a drastic change with Yildiz up top, or at least at the projected lineup, and then it ended up being he and Chico up top. Like, I didn't like that off the hop. I didn't like the 3 at the back. I think this game showed us that we need to, as quickly as possible, switch to a back 4, especially against quick wingers. You kind of left Coop on an island out on the left-hand side to go up against David Neres, who's a very fast player, and Cabal was also there in support. But to your point, like, he has not been sharp in any of the cameos he's made in the last few matches. So I would have not put him in the starting lineup, that's for sure. But yeah, that's for me what jumps out to me. I would have went to a back 4. I would have put, most likely, because we were talking about this in the green room, Mas and I think I would have put McKennie on that side as the left back to go up against Neres, because his defensive prowess, and I know he's not the quickest guy, but I think McKennie would have been able to keep him more in front of him so he wouldn't have to be chasing him down, as we saw in that first one. But yeah, no striker. I didn't like that. Again, it didn't matter in the end because we weren't getting the ball up there anyway. But yeah, I didn't see the need for the change in such a big match. We've been calling for change in the prior matches.
Mas, your thoughts on that starting 11, just immediate gut reaction?
Yeah, very similar to Trim in terms of the back line, but literally my first reaction was, how are we not playing a striker in this game?
Yeah.
I mean, how much money did we spend on strikers in the offseason? Can anybody remind me?
Well, he told you. Spalletti reminded you on Openda how much was paid, and then David was on a free, but obviously higher salary with freebies.
If that isn't the indictment that you need to see, that Spalletti has no confidence in these two guys, with Vlahovic out, with the need for somebody to step in to kind of take the reins in that striker role, and he's trotting out Chico and Yildiz. I mean, what are we doing here? I don't know.
Now, yeah, we'll get to the whole call, and if it's an indictment on them or trying to do a little bit too much and overthinking things, and maybe, I don't know, trying to come out looking like a professor against his old side. I don't really know. We'll take a look at it all. We'll tackle it. We'll hash it out. I see some comments about Cabal. And, Cabal is still green from Adam. I tell you what's green. My face when I'm watching these performances, fighting off pukes, okay? Because that was just that was a disgrace of a performance. Well, first half, one of the worst halves of football I think I've ever watched Juve play. But, yeah, if anything's green, it's my face with these guys and what's going on. Now, let's go through the highlights. This ain't going to take long, and I'm not going to put you all through that too quick, okay? But it starts right out of the gate. You're 5 minutes into this game, and you have the one SOB that you can't have unmarked in the area with a wide open header at the back post in McTominay. How on that right there immediately told me where these guys' headspace was at. You have McTominay wide open back post on a nothing play, a short corner. Great ball in there by Neres, back post, but my God, are you kidding me? Fortunate that it's not 1-0 there. Oh, but don't worry, because Cabal asleep at the wheel, Neres is just behind him, and he's like almost taken aback that, whoa, there's a player there? What are you talking? Cope Miners? My God, man, you're asking Cope Miners to stick with Neres. It ain't going to happen there. He beats him to that, but Lloyd Kelly got beat way too damn easy. It was just a calamity of errors on this first goal. It was just weak. And the part that probably pissed me off the most, defenders lose their man at times. Cole Miners doesn't have the pace to keep with Neres. He did the best he could. When you're out of position right out of the gate, and Neres gets behind you, and then Cope Miners has to slide there to clean it up, and I watch Cabal trot back like it's a Sunday jog, like he's just out for a jog. He's not busting his ass because his guy got by him and he completely lost. That's the shit that pisses me off the most. That pisses me off more than conceding. It pisses me off more than the mistakes in it. It's just your guy gets behind you. I want to see you sprinting as hard as you fucking can to try and help Cope Miners and try and help cover that off. And he doesn't. And that's the shit that makes me sick. That's where I just can't stomach. Guys agree with that? Or is it just
100%.
me?
No, 100%. It's like basic fundamentals of, one-on-one battles with guys. Like you can't get beat like that. And we were discussing this in the green room, Mass and I, and we were just saying, like, so Hoyland's on Kelly's left side. Kelly spots him and sees him, and they're basically like shoulder to shoulder. And then all of a sudden he turns his head away from Hoyland to face the ball. Next thing you know, Hoyland's on his right side, clearly beat him. The ball gets to him and he puts a touch to it and it's in the back of the net. It's like, you had your eyes laid on him. It's like, he's on your backside, so stick with him or get in front of him. Don't allow him to get in front of you. And it's almost like he just gave up on it.
It's just, it's brutal. The whole thing is brutal. The goals we concede are weak. They're just weak. I gotta say. Well, now.
The crazy thing, like even as a casual observer, you could see the way Napoli came out in that game versus the way we came out in that game. Again, even a casual soccer fan would be able to look at that and be like, there's one team here that's putting in a shift. They're running all over the pitch. And this other team over here, they're just kind of strolling around like they don't have any interest in getting the ball back.
That's
like exactly. the lack of like effort and the lack of like drive, which seems to be okay for our management and our coaching staff, that they're seeing this happen and on a consistent basis, and nothing gets corrected. I mean, Berto, you said it, like it's a fundamental effort is a fundamental thing in this game, right? Get off the pitch if you're not going to chase down balls.
I don't understand. I didn't see a team that looked like they knew what the hell they were walking into. That's problem number one. But it's brutal. The first half was absolutely brutal, disgusting. 25th minute, DeGray saves a header that's dipping down, probably going to go under the bar. He makes that save, keeps it at 1. 45th minute, another header from McTominay, and this one goes off the outside of the post. And I mean, they had 4 total attempts in the first half. 3 of them were big chances. They could have walked away 3-0 at half, if we're being honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. Spalletti had to act at halftime, and you get Juan Cabal moving out, okay, to facilitate then getting a striker up. McKennie making a move to the outside. And we'll get to it all in the aftermath. There was just it was too far gone. We chased this game from the outset in making a bold call that, like you said, could make him look like a genius or could backfire on him. Unfortunately for us, it backfired, and we were chasing the entire game. The second half kicks off with another opportunity for them. Hoyland running at us, takes a strike. This one sails high over the bar. 54th minute, McTominay just wide with a free kick. 58th minute, we strike back. We actually make some plays through. A lot of one-touch passing. And McKennie ends up laying it in front of Yildiz. Takes a shot, doesn't get all of it, but puts the placement exactly where it needed to be and left Vanja Milinkovic-Savic standing 1-1. Okay. This is the moment. This is the moment where you put the foot on the throttle. You become the aggressor. You've just gone equal. Yet you can get away with not playing a good game whatsoever. But if you get it right from this point, if you get it right from here on, that's where you can make up for it. We don't. And I think that there was bigger things going on that even if Spalletti hit things right on the head, we still probably would have come up short, because in the end, Napoli's the one that goes out to be the aggressor. Napoli steps on the throttle. And in the end, they get rewarded. And you've got that cross going wide, McKennie and Kalulu both there on the back post. It ends up going across the middle. Again, we have lost Rasmus Højlund as if he's, a mouse in the area. And we can't find this guy. We can't see him. Big, blonde, tall bastard. We can't find this guy. And there he is, point blank with a header. Di Gregorio gets a mitt to it, but not enough to swat it out. And it goes in the goal. And even Di Gregorio taking more heat. And we'll get into it all in the aftermath. It ends there at 2-1. Guys, I'll hit you with the stat. Fuck. This stat line. This stat line tells you a lot about this one. I'll tell you right now. Total opportunities. 5 for Juve. Not a single big chance. Possession lands at 50% between all of them. Napoli, 9 total attempts. 4 of them big chances. You're getting like 50% of your opportunities are big chances to score. That's disgusting in a game like this. 5 total attempts. We had 2 in the first half, and one of them was considered an attempt, and it was like Yildiz slashing at a ball from 28 yards out that had no chance of becoming an actual shot on goal or anything like that. That's how bad it was. Brutal statistics there. The ratings.
You want to hear 2 more good ones?
Fire away.
Højlund had more shots on goal than we did his entire team. Højlund had 3 on goal. We had 2.
Yeah.
Another good one. No player on our team completed a key pass more than once. One key pass.
All the guys with key passes had 1.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Loca with 1. I think Yildiz with 1. I think Chico had 1.
McKennie.
Mac had 1.
Yeah.
This is the ratings. Di Gregorio 6.7. Kalulu 6.2. Kelly 6.3. Colt Miners 6.7. Cambiaso 6.4. McKennie 5.8. Loca 7. Thuram 6.7. Cabal 6.4. Conceição 6.3. Yildiz 7.2. What the fuck game was this person watching? Everybody starts at 6, and I'm telling you, there's not enough red. There's not enough red on there. Okay? Yeah. There's not enough red in there. I'm going to get to my takes on player performances, but right now, this is your shot, boys, to just give your final kind of overview, and then we'll get into the touching topics. So, real brief, Mas. Thoughts at the end of 90 before we break it down and dissect it into segments?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the lineup. We talked about the performance in the first half. The frustrating thing is this game was there for us for the taking. I mean, this was a Napoli side that was not at 100%. A lot of key players missing out of the lineup. We started playing well for a brief period in the second half, where potentially, like you said, we could have been the aggressors and actually taken this game. Yildiz came off the pitch. We lost that creative spark. And let's be honest, guys, at this point, this team is basically, let's see what Yildiz can do. And hopefully he can make some magic, and then maybe we'll get a result. So once you take him off, if you're not putting in another creative player, I believe it was Openda that came in. For me, I would have put Zagrova in at that point. Whether he's able to play that many minutes or not, I don't know, but it was just frustrating. This is a game we could have had, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to give you the real quick, just so you have it. Jonathan David came in, obviously, when Cabal came out. Kostic came in the 71st minute for Cambiaso. Miretti came in the 76th minute for Chico. Openda came in the 76th for Yildiz. And then 82nd minute, Jagrova in.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that too. But Trim, your thoughts at the 90 real quick.
Yeah, we'll touch on a lot of like specific players and stuff later on in the show. But just as an overall, whoever made the scorecard for like the player ratings, they clearly were smoking some good weed there, because I would have flipped McKennie's rating and given that to Cambiaso, because I don't think McKennie deserved a 5.6 or 5.8, whatever it was. Cambiaso for me was the worst player on the field yesterday. I'll touch on it more in one of the segments later on, but I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I'm getting to the point where I actually have more faith in Kostic being out there, and that's saying a lot because he's not creative at all and doesn't really set up 1-2 plays and passing. He's more just standard one-dimensional crossing guy, but I actually have more faith in Kostic. Cambiaso, for me, I wouldn't play him for a while. Maybe spot duty here and there. So that was number one. Number two, like I said, I touched on when it comes to making such a drastic change into the lineup going into this match, I would have never done it against an opponent like Napoli. Like, you know Napoli's game plan. You know that they're quick out wide, so you need a 4-man backline, or at least someone on the left and the right side that has pace. Kalulu did his job, limiting Noah Lang on that side, and there were many times where he actually beat Lang to balls, which I actually was impressed with. But leaving Colt Miners out on an island to face Neres, and then furthermore putting Cabal, who was shaky at best in the last few matches to begin with. We said I would have preferred to put McKennie on that side, because at least defensively I know what I'm going to get out of him, and he'll try to hustle back. And I didn't like not having a striker up top. And again, it wouldn't have made a difference. In the end, it didn't make a difference because we weren't getting the ball there. But having Yildiz as a false nine, I hope this shows everyone that, look, we know he's capable of playing multiple positions, and he's a talented enough player that he could play there. But if you can't see that he's best suited in the middle, not even out wide on the left, in the middle as a 10 to get the ball and create, you want the ball at Yildiz's feet. We're ranting and raving about how well he's played, and he's the only one scoring goals. So why wouldn't you want him in that number 10 position behind a striker to help build up and get the ball to our strikers who are not even getting the ball at all? And I get it. You know, people slam me because of my David bias and whatnot, but it wouldn't have mattered even if David was in there. That's why I'm not even mentioning him not being in the starting lineup. But you need a striker in there, and it didn't make sense to me to make this drastic change.
We've got the player ratings out here, and I'm going to be pretty fucking direct and blunt about this. When you're talking about the players as individuals and everything and the shortcomings there, I have to start off with the coach, because your coach has to put your players in the best position possible. Your read on this game was dead wrong. If you're Spalletti, absolutely dead wrong. Now, before we rip into players who had errant passes and passed this and all this, even Spalletti's words after the match, talking about getting forward, getting into the middle, and Loca sitting deep. Take the names out of the equation, because people are just going to think that, you know, oh, it's Loca this, Loca that. No, let's take the names out of the equation. If you watch that game yesterday, okay, our attackers, I won't even mention names, and our midfielders, where in the fuck would you like a midfielder to join up in that play and join that congested clusterfuck disaster of a positional mess that I watched in the first half? Everybody was there. Thuram, Yildiz, Chico, McKennie were all in the same spot. We literally created a funnel for Napoli to come and destroy us, and labeled everything and played everything through one bloody area. We had no width to our game whatsoever, with no striker, no focal point to at least push back that back line. You had absolutely nowhere for these guys to go. Absolutely nowhere. And on top of it, you had guys that just struggled, and to be fair, have been struggling for a while. And I'm not so sure that it would have even gone right if you got that tactically right. But in a game like this, where your fight level, your level of compete was garbage, it probably wouldn't have mattered even if you got it right, because that can't fade or waver no matter what. But when you make a shift like this, if you guys go back to a few games, there was a halftime, we were frustrated with the first half. I said, enough is enough. This team cannot compute things that are hybrid. It's time to simplify. This was the exact bloody opposite of simplifying anything. To go into some type of shape or setup that you have not used against any opponent this season, and to do it in this game, was an absolute disaster class. And whatever the case may be, trying to tell a story about the attackers or your faith in them, whatever it was, you set your boys up for disaster in doing it. We were so narrow in that first half. You had no hopes of going back at Napoli. Absolutely none. Because on top of that positional disaster, you had guys that just look lost and without a damn clue. And unfortunately, it's the guys that need to be the one pulling the weight. And we may have a problem with certain individuals. My worst rating out there might be Spalletti's in this particular match. Okay? But there's a couple other guys that are really vying for that Pomodoro d'Oro award. Okay? There's a couple guys really, really vying for that one. And, of course, I thought I had it. We might have got rid of it. Oh, man, I had a beauty Pomodoro d'Oro photo. I don't have it prepped. But honestly, Spalletti might think he might take the lowest rating. On top of that, we'll get to Spalletti for me. Oh, man. It's a loss that is tough to pinpoint one thing. It had it all. Like, how could you pick? If someone literally asked me, says, was the loss down to quality, tactics, or mentality? All of it.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah, it touches on all of them, for sure. All three.
How can you win if all of it have massive glaring shortcomings? All of it. You can't win. You know, and you still had a shot. You're at 1-1, but deep down, sadly, you just didn't see that attitude. So whether it's belief, confidence, all this, it just ain't happening. It's the same carousel that we're on. And we've been on this carousel for way too long. It's infuriating. I don't have the answers. I wish I did. But I'm going to tell you right now that like less might be more with these guys. Straight up line it up, because if there's one thing to take out of it, and one thing that I did agree with Spalletti, was his assessment that it got a little bit better in the second half when they decided to go man to man and just simplify and play that way. It got a little bit better. And you know what? I don't understand how you can face a Napoli side with a makeshift midfield, a midfield that already gives you an advantage because McTominay is going to stay back because he's acting as a pivot next to Elmas, for God's sakes. And I can understand Spalletti thinking that, oh, we're going to give ourselves he kept saying after that, numerical advantage. Yeah, the problem was you fucking put everyone in there. The way Yildiz and Chico interpreted their roles, they played it the exact same that they did in a standard 3-4-2-1. The problem was McKennie and Thuram also occupied all the same space. In the end, yeah, you got numerical advantage, but it was a shit show, and you had no width, no positioning that was of any substance to try and progress the ball for us.
You know what, though, guys? At the end of the day, You can tear apart the tactics. You can tear apart the manager. You can tear apart, the roster. Fundamentally, if from the start your effort level isn't there, it doesn't matter what you do. You can put any strategy you want on the pitch. If these guys aren't going to go out and bust their ass, the result's not going to be there, right? Yes, you got to prepare them. You got to make sure that you got a plan in place. But
it has to go hand in hand, though. Like, even if you worked your bag off in that first half, what are you working for? To put the ball in one spot?
Fair.
The top of the half circle where they're waiting for you and everything's labeled and all of your players are just right there. Okay, boys, let's close them down. We're going to win this ball back. Like, what are you busting your ass for? Like, it has to come together. Yeah. And again, missed passes. So everyone's talking about the passes too. Skanga coming in here, 114 missed passes. Yeah, everything's labeled and going to the same way. Like, flank play? There was no flank play yesterday.
There was none. Yeah, there was nothing on the flank. Yeah.
There was no actual focal point to our game. There was nothing. It was the guys in the middle need to go through a fucking maze.
Yeah.
To progress the game. That is unacceptable. You're going to get nowhere. I don't care if you're playing Napoli. I don't care if you're playing fucking Parma. It was terrible.
You did touch on it, though. You guys touched on it on the pregame. What's Napoli's MO when it comes to defending? Clog the middle, just like the rest of Serie A. What did we do? Try to drive through the middle, which made absolutely no sense. So it's like, just from that point alone, like, and it was funny because now that we're kind of touching on mentality and kind of like the lackluster effort that we put in, when I turned the game on and you kind of see the players waiting in the tunnel, it's actually funny because it's pretty telling. If you look at the players' faces as they're waiting to come out, now after seeing the performance, you can kind of see like they didn't look like they wanted to be there yesterday. And I don't know, again, we touched on this in the groom room. Mass and I were talking about, can we use the excuse that, it's a hostile environment, all the shit they got to be put through on the way to the game, on the way out of the game? Like, I don't know, like you got to be stronger mentally to fight through that stuff. And all our strong teams in the decade of dominance, like they would cakewalk through those environments and just say, bring it on. And we're here to ball out and play. And our team just is mentally weak. I mean, that's what it is. Bottom line.
This team is scared.
Fragile. Yeah. I was going to say fragile.
They're scared. They play scared. Yeah. They play so slow that to me, when you play slow, you're afraid. You're afraid. Yeah. You're afraid everyone's afraid to make a mistake. They end up doing nothing. There's nothing there. And I'll be quite honest. I don't know where the hell Thuram of last season is, but that was disgusting yesterday. He was probably the worst player on the pitch. And if ball winning and your stature and physicality is supposed to be the game, he played it like a damn mouse yesterday. Mm-hmm. He played that game like a fucking mouse. And that kills me because I love Thuram. I love him. I want him to do well. I see a ton of potential in there, but I'll be quite honest. He is behind the mark and has been for way too long this season. I don't know what it's going to take or what he needs to snap out of it, but he needs to snap out of it. Cambiaso, absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous yesterday. Absolutely ridiculous. You want to talk about guys that add absolutely nothing to the team? These two can't be guys that add next to nothing. You can't be in a big game and looking to have to get rid of these guys and move these guys out there. There came a point in time, and this is where I start to feel for Spalletti, because even if I disagree with how he approached this game and what he did with the starting 11, there came a point where you had too many guys that you need to take out, that you just can't, But we have to stop fighting this. And I don't understand why every coach that comes in here, we had a lengthy discussion about Weston McKennie. It's great to say that Weston McKennie, as a utility player, it's awesome to hear, hey, you know what? You ask and I'll do it. That's great. But it doesn't disregard the fact that you can't ask him to do shit that just because he'll do it for you, that he's just not capable of fucking doing it. Like
I'll play keeper if you want. Sure.
Like the McKennie as a 10 fucking thing, and this advanced midfielder is just ain't it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. He should have been from the outside at the start of the game, period.
Yeah.
If you play McKennie in yesterday's game, I said it's from the outside. You have to make a decision on what you want with Chico Conceição. Whether Conceição starts at all, or if you employ a different system and Weston maybe isn't out there, or maybe Weston sits Cambiasso. I even said that at the start of the game. Maybe he sits Cambiasso. And you use Chico Conceição as an outside wide player. Because Napoli likes to get their outsides up, and maybe there'll be some space out there for him to attack. But what do I know? Let's stuff him in the middle with 4 other players and just fucking say, here, guys. It's infuriating to see shortcomings on all facets of the game. There's no doubt about it. Now, Spalletti is free and clear for a lot of people. There's nowhere to hide. Trim's talking about excuses. There is no excuses. Like, you can't use anything as an excuse. I don't care where the hell you're playing. I get it. They threw rocks at your bus before the game. Big deal. Sack up.
Welcome that should motivate Napoli. You more. Like, what's the matter with you guys? Like, you should
Spalletti had to wait until year end and a Scudetto to get his fucking steering wheel of his car back. Like, welcome to Napoli. You know? Sack up. They threw rocks at our bus. Who gives a shit? Beat them.
Well, and one other thing I just want to touch on, Berto, because there was a comment earlier that I just wanted to kind of highlight. You know, how many shows have we done with these previous managers and now Spalletti, and we keep going back to the same thing where this one comment said, you know, after so many managers, I think it's pretty clear that it's the players, right? But there comes a point where how many times do we have to say that a manager is given the players he's given and he's got to make the best of it? And yesterday's game highlighted where the manager didn't get the best out of the players that he has at his disposal in terms of setting the lineup and creating a game plan to attack this game. So yes, we can all acknowledge that our players are not good enough, but when are we ever going to take accountability and say that the coach also has to be responsible for making the right decisions? He's not going to be perfect every game, but it's like yesterday highlighted that you have to put a little bit of it or some of it on Spalletti. You can't just say, oh, just chalk it up as, oh, we don't have good enough players. Okay, so where's going to be the money to just buy a whole new starting 11 and just disregard all the players that we have? Like, we can't do that. So a manager's got to make the best with what he has. And yesterday highlighted where he actually made some mistakes in the sense that he didn't get it right yesterday. And we got to just call it for what it is. They can't just keep saying, like, it's not about sacking Spalletti, but it's like, come on, guys, you got to realize that the coach is responsible for putting the best lineup out there and getting the best out of the players.
Hey, well. Spalletti's also not a guarantee moving into the next season. So, I mean, you kind of do have to look at it. That's like the question right now. Is Spalletti off the hook completely because the players have nowhere to hide and it's all this? The truth is, it all has to come together. Yeah. I mean, when you see games, and we've seen them with glimpses of what could actually come, I have to put up red flags, like when you just completely go away from things that were good and going positive. And this isn't a Spalletti thing. This is like, this was a Tudor thing. This was a Motta thing. Why do coaches come into Juve and all of a sudden when you start to see good things, it goes away? Miretti should have played a part as an advanced player over McKennie. Everybody on earth would probably agree, like, if you're going to pick out of those two in that role, that's going to be the call. Cambiasso and Thuram are borderline whether they start the game or not. And I actually said that if we had better alternatives at the back line, I said this in the Match Day Live, the preview show, I would not have started Thuram in yesterday's game, and it would have been Colt Miners there next to Loca with Miretti advanced. That's the midfield I would have went with against Elmas and McTominay. Cambiasso, I said I would have probably sat him for Mac. The reality is, I don't understand how you can come out and read things and get to that lineup. with Cabal, with McKennie in a position where he just ain't doing it. Despite everybody that was fighting me on Twitter telling me this is a Mac game. No, he's crucial to Spalletti. He is not a 10. He's not a 10. He is not an advanced midfielder. He does his best work from the outside. Period. You can't go away from these things. You can't, there comes a time where you just have to go into it. When Spalletti comes out in a presser afterwards and he gives you the value of a player, why Openda, why this, why Yildiz out, he's giving me that value. If I didn't know any better, is there something going on behind the scenes that is dictating these lineups for coaches or what they do with players that is not of their own decisions? I don't understand it. I do not understand it. Taking Yildiz out of that game, stupid. You're going to play him to 85 minutes, 86 in a Coppa Italia match that the other team hasn't got a sniff of anything in, and then you're going to take him out at 74 against Napoli there? Come on. Yeah,
it's actually it's comical is what it is.
It's wild.
From beginning to end, it was just comical yesterday. It's some of the things you just could not believe from a professional coach. It doesn't make any sense. Right?
We lose our heads. The players lose their heads, but our coaches lose their heads too.
Yeah.
It's got to come together at some point. I don't understand. So even if you went complete overhaul on roster, I'm at the point now, I'm not tied to any of these guys.
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest. I'm at the point now, pick somebody, roll with it, make your call, but build. Let's be legit and build. But if you want to talk about building, let's get into this. Which players are actually long-term pillars for you? Which players are long-term pillars?
So this ties into a segment we're going to do in a bit, but from my end, I have literally one guy, and it's Yildiz. And I don't even have faith that he's going to be here. That's the sad part. He's the only guy I would tie myself to, but I don't feel like I'm worried that he's not going to end up sticking around for one reason or another. Whether it's he leaves on his own or whether it's the ownership decides to cash in and sell him now. But he'd be the only guy.
Mas, who do you see as a long-term pillar at this club right now?
Yeah, I think we had this question earlier in the season. I think my answer at that point was Thuram, Yildiz, and Bremer. I think now, based on the way Thuram's playing, I don't know if I can put him there, to be honest. Like you said, flashes of potential, but nowhere near where he was at last season. Bremer, health-wise, I just don't know if it's there anymore, to be honest. It remains to be seen if he'll come back and be the guy that he was. Yildiz is obviously a no-brainer. He needs to be there, if he'll be there. I think I might throw Chico in there as well, just because outside of Yildiz, I think he's probably been our best player of the season. He's young, and he brings something to the team that we don't have otherwise, outside of maybe Jagrova, right? But outside of those two, blow it up, man. Everybody else is available. It's a fire sale. Come get them.
So we want to build with two pillars currently in the squad.
That's where we're at.
If that's not telling, I mean, yeah, that's wild shit. Because I probably have Yildiz and Chico as probably the only two. I'll be quite honest, as long-term pillars. Long-term pillars. So I see names like Bremer thrown out there. Bremer, yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, I mean, it just, you can't keep going, being on the same carousel over and over and over without these guys taking the fair share of the heat as well. But as far as a coaching thing, this is why it's going to get very tricky for Juve as we near certain moments, even just a January window, but then let alone season's end, because You have a coach you need to make a decision on, but you also have players with just an probably a part of what we might call the worst Juve side, arguably, we've ever seen. Is it at that point? Do you think it's overboard by some, because it's been thrown out there a lot, that this is the worst Juve side they've seen?
I don't think it's that bad. It's bad, but I definitely I can't say it. Not at this point, not yet. I mean, it'd have to continue down this path and this road that we're on right now for the rest of this season. But I can't say.
We had Juve sides finishing 7th and 8th and whatnot, and those rosters are being picked by some fans as better rosters than this one.
Yeah, that's why I know.
This is the thing. Statistically, we may not be, but in terms of roster, you look at some of those teams, like you had your Del Pieros, you had your Trezeguets on there, right? You had a pretty stout defense. You had a keeper, right? Roster-wise now, I mean, on paper, it could be, right? It could be.
The goals yesterday. This Di Gregorio's taken a lot of flack, a lot of heat.
Yeah, this season and specifically, yeah.
What did you think of the goals yesterday? Di Gre took some heat for not coming out and getting the ball. Funny enough, on both.
The second one, though, that was across to the left. Noah Lang hit it with his shoulder up in the air to Hoyland. Like, how is he going to come out and get that one? So I'll give him a pass on the second one. The first one, let me just say that I'm not as mad yesterday when it comes to the goals and how they went in with Digre in comparison to some of the other matches. There were other matches this season where he let in some iffy ones. I'll say that.
Listen, he's not at the level that he was last year, I don't think. I'd say he's regressed slightly, but I don't think he's as bad as people have been making him out to be. And let's not forget, he made a couple of saves yesterday where the scoreline could have been worse. So I don't know. I don't understand the heat that he takes.
If I'm looking at the goals yesterday, the first one, I can't really blame him on that one. The second one, the small box, so the 6-yard box, calling him out to go and collect that one at the back post. Watching it on replay and stuff, it's like that thing moved very, very quickly. You also have 2 players back post there. That's a tough one. It's a tough one. It moved over pretty damn fast. I don't think he was reading that he was going to get there. Call it maybe lack of anticipation, whatever. But then after, to try and get that point blank on Hoyland, the fact he got a mid on it, swatted at it. Yeah, some say you get a mid on it, you got to keep it out. Look, I don't know. When I see Perrin come in, Perrin doesn't look confident either to me. Like, he just doesn't come in and, like, he talks way more than Di Gregorio, but it doesn't equate to more confidence or instill more confidence, personally, when I'm looking at these guys. I still feel like it's the back line. I still feel like with the back line, there's just not a lot of confidence back there between the pipes. And especially when we're picking out the mistakes on man marking, left, right, and center. I think these goalies, as you start going through the game, start to get more and more nervous. If you start a game 5 minutes in and you see McTominay with a fucking wide open free header at your back post, Jesus Christ, Gigi Buffon would tear a strip off these guys. You know how many times you would hear Porcodillo on the mics around the pitch?
But I think that's one of the knocks against him, right? He's not a vocal leader back there.
Well, you can't create a brain. This isn't like Creepy Crawlers where you can just put the fucking shit in there and fucking spin the little wheel and all of a sudden, hey, here, I got a brain for you. It's it's one of those things, like, even if he starts freaking out yelling, will these guys crumble? Maybe. Maybe it gets worse. Maybe he's tried that approach. I really don't have words for it, but it's just shaky right across the board.
Yeah.
But, man, the whole Conte thing versus Juve thing, we saw this in a match last season too, where second half, they just blew us up. They just blew us up, where they ran, and Juve just looked like a bunch of scared kids, to be honest. If there's one thing that you could immediately change about the roster, and this is going to be a little bit of a, not super realistic, but like, what's the key ingredient this roster doesn't have? Because there's several things, but what would be the key ingredient? Experience for me.
Yeah, I was just going to say experience.
Yeah. Experience and leadership, for sure.
Even if you had a little more experience that maybe weren't stars, like a Granit Xhaka that might have been available for super cheap in the summer, might give you a little more sting. Able to, like, be composed in situations. Not be scared or shivering because some rocks hit your bus.
There's a certain defender that's available on a free right now. He might be a little bit long in the tooth, but brings a little piss and vinegar.
We have hurt feelings about what he did to Quadrado, who then in turn pissed on any feelings that we should have towards him anyways.
And he shattered our dreams in the Euros with Italy in 2012, and
Joe Tellerico comes out and says it, but he calls Ramos Ramps, which is actually hilarious. Bring me Ramps. Yeah, bring me Ramos.
Like that. Yeah.
Bring me Ramos. You know what? I said if the details are there, do it. Because that guy ticks both boxes of a champion player and an asshole and experience.
Yeah.
A lot of boxes ticked off there.
He might hurt some feelings if he comes in the change room and tells some guys that we have right now that we're.
Hey, let's go.
I'm not a fan of Ramos, but you know what? At this point, I'm willing to throw that out the window, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's a very difficult spot. Like, how do you fix what's going on right now? I don't think there's any one answer, and I don't think it gets solved immediately.
No, this is a long-term thing.
The fear is, just because you want to make that Champions League spot, they're going to make some bad decisions in January that will cost them. Right?
Yeah. January.
Last year.
What's the biggest need in January? Position. Give me the top position.
Defender.
Center back. Yeah.
Center back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like...
That's the way it's been with me since the summer, right?
Hopefully we find out, like... with Bremer, I like the left outside might be the biggest need.
I was just going to say, like, I could make an argument. I know we keep seeing center back, but that's why I said defender, because I wouldn't mind someone out wide, because we have no faith in Cabal. We don't put McKennie there for whatever reason, because Spalletti likes him in the mid on the outside.
Man, you're a fully fit Joao Mario, and you can't get into this. You like ever is just it's hilarious. But that tells you everything about the calamity of errors, the squad building, and everything. Like, Kamoli brings this guy in, makes that move. For who? For Tudor? Tudor never even played the guy. What's that move all about? Literally an add-on, or like a thank you to Porto? For what? Thank you for charging us over and above for Chico?
And we didn't even need to get rid of Alberto Costa. That's the best part. Like, he could have done a solid job. If you're not going to use Joao Mario, it doesn't.
Well, at least make profit on saying goodbye to him. $800K, like what's $800K going to get you? There's a lot of just disarray from top to bottom around Juve. I'm not really sure why nothing seems to turn the corner time and time again, but if things continue on the path they are, and we already started to see signs of it this season, yeah, there's going to be a massive light shining on John Elkann, who ultimately it comes down to. This new management group, and this formulating is kind of easing that, because now all of a sudden people will shine their eyes on that and say, well, look, these guys have just come in. Look, if you want to start saying that your players don't have the luxury of time at Juve, neither do those guys. That's the reality. They got to get it right, and I got to see some real action towards squad building and what they're going to do. It needs to start making sense. Because we've even said some goodbyes that have left us a little bit short-handed. Again this season, as we were last season. And it's like, why did you say these goodbyes? And it's not like you were selling them for huge chunks of cash. And you were still going to face the same FFP penalties that you're still facing even with those goodbyes. It's also going to hit Christmas and we don't have a sporting director. Ori coming in here, sporting director. No, it's Kamoli's show, everybody. I said this a million times. Good luck and Godspeed, Kamoli. Guys, drop a like. We are going to get stormed the barn, but these guys, we got some segments we're going to rock here. First, okay? Trim the fat is up first.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? We're going to trim the fat today. Let's go.
I need some theme music, like Omar demanding.
Yeah, well, don't worry about the intro music. We'll figure that out. But Trim the Fat's coming up here. Trim, tell us about the segment, what it's essentially going to be, and then fire away.
So it's an homage to a sports talk radio show that I listen to here, where they just simply throw out some statements, but I'm going to make it where it's a statement that I believe in. It's a statement from Trim. So throw out a statement, and it's either you kind of agree or disagree, confirm or deny, however you want to put it. These are in no particular order, so I'm just going to kind of throw them out there, and we'll see what you guys think. But again, these are actually my opinions, not like Omar's segment where he's just kind of throwing out football ideas and whatnot and just kind of shooting from the hip where he sees from Twitter, the old Twitter machine. So here we go for the first Trim the Fat segment. Yesterday's loss to Napoli takes Juve out of the title race.
So take it or
title
leave
race
it.
Meaning Scudetto, not top four, out of the title race.
Yeah, I'm yesterday's loss doesn't do it. So I'm going to say that I'm going to leave that one for now. And I know people just say, dude, that's crazy. That's just, you're being hugely optimistic. Yesterday's doesn't do it, because yesterday's doesn't do it. There's a lot of other things that might make me feel like it's going to not be the case. But this, I can't even fathom how weak Serie A is. And we just did that to Napoli's B side. God.
Okay.
No.
How about you, Mas? What do you think?
I'm going to leave that one.
Taking it all day long. I thought that prior to the Napoli game yesterday. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No. There is nothing on this team that makes me believe that we can make a Scudetto run happen. I have no confidence in anything we're doing right now, guys. I'm going to be honest. So I'm taking that.
No.
So heading into full disclosure, heading into yesterday's match, we were actually only like 5 or 6 points out. So for the ones that are saying we were never in it, I mean, math would tell you the maths. I'm not good at math either, but like, let's just be real. Okay. Number one. Number two, it actually ties into one of my other ones, but I'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, no, like,
so
and we're
2.
talking about the race. I'm not talking about winning it, but like the race, no, it doesn't take you out of the race.
Yeah, and that's why I specifically said the race. So, number 2, this will be Cambiaso's last season in a Juve shirt. For me, I'm done. Get him out as quickly as possible. Out.
Yeah, I'm leaving it. I think he'll be here next season. And the only reason I say that is because his value is at a point now where you're better off keeping him than selling him, because you're probably not going to make any money back or anything valuable back. All you can do is hope that he can somehow regain his form and
I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take it because I feel like if you're going to make an actual push to keep Yildiz and try to appease certain other players on your team with a build, guys are going to have to go. So I actually believe that, yeah, they might push to sell in the summer. So I'm going to actually take that one.
What do we think his value's at right now? 30 maybe?
35 to 40.
Yeah, 40 might be pushing it.
In Juve's eyes, 20. Like in Juve fans' eyes, 20 million. But in actual, if what he's capable of and what's going to be interesting is there's a World Cup involved too. And he actually does well with the Azzurri. If Palestra is going to cost us 35 million, Cambiaso should very much be 40 on a price tag. 40 to 45 if you're going to be selling Palestra for 35. And if he has a good World Cup in there, yeah, I think that's the price range you should be going for.
Yeah, and obviously we know what happened last season where we missed out on a big chunk of money because they didn't want to sell him in January. But also to Mitch's comment, it's not that I never liked Cambiaso. Actually, I was a big fan of him, but just seeing his performances after the last, I would arguably say, year and a half, because even dating back to last year, I've done the old flip because I just feel like, we can move on from that position. Like you said, Berto ties into maybe keeping a guy like Yildiz around. So anyways, okay, that's number 2. Number 3, it's time for Spalletti to switch to a back 4.
I feel like we're both going to say take here. I don't know how I can, in good conscience, say leave it. But
and I'm also not factoring, like, injuries aside. I know Bremer's still not back. Like, we need to go to a back 4. Like, I'm tired of this back 3.
I want to see it. I want to see it more as a 3-5-2 with legit 3 midfielders and Yildiz free roaming and a striker. I want to see it that before I fully lock in. I was all for the 4-man backline, pushing it for a lot this season, but I think we can clean what we have up and tweak it. I'm kind of in between this one. This is but I mean, let's see it. So I'll just say take it because let's see it. Let's see the back 4. Let's see the back 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to take it too.
It might help push the lines forward a bit because, my God, the back line wasn't pushing the mids up yesterday, and it was just a shit show.
So I don't think we have the players for a back 3. I've said that all along. Even with
you have less help back there in a back 4, so it's like, and you don't have true CBs. Like right now, with Rugani and Bremer out, you don't have like a true center back.
Well, Gatti out too, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a true CB right now. So it's like, fuck, I don't know. Does the 3 help that? Does it save that? Or does it negate it?
I think we're kind of screwed either way. Like, I think with the 3 we have, we don't really have 3 flat at the back centrally either. And so I can make a case that it's like, either way, you're kind of stuck. So I would rather see what it would look like with 2 outside players and 2 in the middle, in the back. But yeah. So, anyways, that was number 3.
I guess I'll say take 4, just to see it. Yeah. But like that's a tough one.
Yeah. So I've got 7 in total. So this is number 4. So we got a few more. We'll try to hammer through these. Number 4, when healthy, Bremer will struggle to regain his form. So basically meaning, I don't feel he's going to be the same. I'm actually very fearful that he's not finished, but his Juve stint will not get back to where it was pre-injury. Which is also why I didn't have him as one of my pillars.
I'm pretty concerned, and I talked about it on the pregame live yesterday, that I'm very nervous about this meniscus thing and the fact that we need to start planning for life without Bremer pretty quickly. I'm actually going to take that one. I'm concerned. Because also, this season, he wasn't the Bremer. Like, he had a couple games where it was like, okay, that's the Bremer we know, but then it really wasn't the same. So I have concerns there. I'm going to take that one.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it. I think, obviously, for me to sit here and say I'm not concerned about his medical status is a lie, because obviously I am. But I think in terms of his age, I think in terms of his talent, maybe not getting back to where he was at this season, but going into next season, I think if he can stay healthy for the rest of the year, I think he should be back to a level that maybe not, to what he was, but I think he'll be a pretty strong.
Well, if he's not to what he was, then that's taking it, because that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's essentially what it is.
Yeah,
he's not going to get back to the Bremer that.
Yeah. I don't think he'll ever be what he was. But I still think he's going to be a solid contributor at some point.
All right.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not like I'm holding the injury against him. It's not his fault he got hurt like that. I'm just saying, I'm very fearful that it's like we've seen the last of the best days of Bremer, and that's why, like I said, I didn't tie him into like the pillars argument of who you'd keep as a pillar. So, so that was number 4. 3 more. Number 5. If Juve sell Yildiz, it will tell me everything I need to know about this ownership/management.
I'm going to leave that because it might be his call. So I'm going to leave that.
Oh,
that it's not going to be all in management's hand.
Okay. I like that spin on it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to take it just because I'm not confident that this management knows what they're doing right now in terms of anything. So I can see them totally botching the situation in terms of screwing up the contract or if we don't make Champions League, that's a big financial gap that we're going to need to make up for. So as crazy and unrealistic as it sounds, it wouldn't surprise me if we moved on from them. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's try machine gun these. We got 2 segs and we got to get some Storm the Barn.
2 more. Despite the loss to Napoli, so this ties into my first one. Despite the loss to Napoli, I'm still not convinced the top 4 teams are that much better than us.
I'm taking that. 100%.
Basically, Juve getting in the way of Juve, as always.
Self-sabotage. I'm taking that one 100%.
I'm leaving it. On paper, they may not be as good as we are, but in terms of form, in terms of the way they're being coached, I think they are miles ahead of where we're at right now. That's bottom line.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So this is the last one. And was vocal about this at the time of the appointment. I am still not convinced Spalletti is the guy. Meaning that in the summer, if there are other options out there, I would strongly consider moving off of him.
I will take that just because at this point in time, I'm not locked into him. So I will take that one for now because right now I'm leaving myself open to what happens. So right now I'm taking that one.
Yeah, I'd be a hypocrite if I said leave it because I was totally on board with him not being a permanent fixture for the next 1 to 2 seasons. So, no, I'm leaving it. I'd like to see somebody else move him in.
There you go. Okay. We have trimmed the fat. All right. Love it. Love it. And you guys see some excitement earlier in the chat there that guys are getting their own segments. That's something new that we're trying to do. Everybody get their segments. Speaking of that, Mas, it's time to rank the masses. There you go. Let's go. Rank the masses.
Cue my intro.
Music's coming. Music's coming.
Come on, Berto. All right.
He wanted John Cicada, but we can't do that for copyright issues. So
get Seth to make me one of those catchy drum things that he does.
Yeah, there you go. So now top 5. Like it's a top 5 ranking. What have you chosen? We don't even know. Trim and I are going into this thing blind.
The way this is going to work is basically every time I'm on, I'm going to present a top 5 ranking on a certain Juventus specific topic. And, from there we can debate the rankings. We can shift them around. We can take, stuff out, put them back in and kind of go from there. So What I chose today, based on last week's, World Cup draw on Friday, everybody's in the World Cup spirit. I decided to go with my top 5 World Cup performances by Juventus players that I have witnessed in my lifetime. So that automatically dismisses 1982 because I was 3 years old at that point and I was not watching football. So that is to say that if 1982 was included, there would be probably 2 or 3 players from that team that would be in the top 5. But again, it has to be Juventus players that were on Juve's roster when they played the tournament itself. Okay, so number 5, I got Zambrotta, World Cup 2006. So, I mean, what needs to be said about this guy? I mean, at that point, he was basically the perfect blend of, a player at his tactical and physical peak. Arguably the best fullback of that tournament. Probably arguably the best fullback in the world at that point. If we remember that tournament, he basically played left back, right back, fullback, midfield. I mean, that was super important for him. Sorry, not super important for him, but super important for Lippi. If we look back at that tournament, a lot of suspensions, a lot of injuries for Lippi at that point. So the fact that he was versatile for him was a huge thing. That tournament, he only conceded 2 goals.
Yeah.
2 goals and none were in open play, keep in mind. One was a PK and one was an own goal. So obviously he was a huge part of that. The guy scored against Ukraine in the quarters. He assisted on Luca Toni's goal as well. And just personally, he's one of my personal all-time favorite players. So that's why he cracks the 5. Number 4, and I wanted to put this guy a little higher, but number 4, Buffon, World Cup 2006. So anybody who did not watch that tournament, I'm assuming the majority would have, do me a favor, go on YouTube and just check out some of the highlights of this guy during that tournament. That's really all you need to say. He was a beast. Mm-hmm. It's looked back on as possibly the greatest, goalkeeper tournament performance of all time. At that point, he was at his peak as well in terms of physical, mental. Technically, he was an animal, right? Again, didn't allow a single goal all tournament from open play. Zidane's goal again, the PK, and then the Zaccardo own goal. And I think we mentioned it earlier in the show, actually, in terms of D-Gray not being a vocal sort of leader in terms of a keeper. You look back at that tournament and the way Buffon basically owned that net and was essentially the general for that back line in terms of setting up where they needed to be, yelling at guys. He was it. He was the guy, man. It was a sight to be seen. Please go look at some highlights today if you want to get in a good mood, because some of them are just wild. So number 3, 1994 World Cup, Roberto Baggio. So unfortunately, most people remember this performance based on that last PK. We all know that one image of him kind of dropping his head after he rocketed the ball over the net. Call a spade a spade. This guy was on one leg the whole tournament, and he was the perfect example of what, at that point, a fantasista was supposed to be, right? He was coming off the Ballon d'Or win in 1993. The guy had 5 knockout stage goals. 5. All of them decisive. Try to process that. And just wild, right? People forget that team. Saki's team was a very defensive team. He was really the only offensive spark on that team. If not for him, they don't even sniff the final, to be honest, in my opinion. So what's to be said? I mean, I don't look back on that tournament in terms of him missing that. I look back and see a player that was just at his peak and performing at a top level with an injury, right? Number 2, and this is kind of a personal fave because Zizou's my guy, 1998 World Cup, Zidane. Again, a guy who was pretty much in their prime. Statistically, he didn't have the best tournament, but also keep in mind he was suspended for 2 games with a red card versus Saudi Arabia, so he only played 5 games. You look at back of videos of that tournament and this guy, you couldn't get the ball off him. He owned the midfield. He was literally untouchable. Just wild. 2 goals in the final versus Brazil. Surprisingly enough, headers, which wasn't really his thing. But nothing more to say on that. Zizou was the guy. Like 1998, he owned it, and France took the title. Number one. So World Cup 2006, going back to that one, who else could it be? Cannavaro. When you got the nickname the Berlin Wall, what else is there to be said? You know you've done something right at that point, right? That run is basically looked at as one of the, if not the greatest defensive performances in football history, right? Again, no goals allowed from open play. He was the game MVP. I don't know if you guys remember this, game MVP in every knockout game. He played 7 games. I don't remember that guy making an error. He was top form. Also, keep in mind, Nesta was injured, right? So he basically had to come in and take the reins of that defense, right? And he was also really great on the ball in that tournament as well. Obviously, the memory that I have and a lot of people would have was the Del Piero goal in the semifinal. Ridiculous tackle header combo that started that sequence off. 32 years old, leader of the team at that point. Listen, unanimous number one.
There you go. Now,
Love it.
the fun part, we get to dissect it. So, fun part. I actually have Baggio at number one. I'll put Baggio's 94 at number one. And the reason I'll put it up at number one, even in an Italy loss, is the fact that there's only 3 players, maybe 4, like ever in the history of the game that could do what he did in the Saki team that he was a part of. He's one of few that could actually do that and score like that and get that kind of stats on that Italy squad in 94. So I'm going to put him actually at number one as far as World Cup performances go. I would have Cannavaro's at 2. I would have Buffon at 3, Zizou at 4, and then Zambrotta at 5. The reason Zizou goes so far down is just because it's marred by, obviously, taking himself out at the most critical of moments and losing his head. But he was lights out. But Buffon and Cannavaro were ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Buffon did not get beat by anything that was not a PK or that own goal in that one match that I believe was Zaccardo. I could be wrong. That's it. And Cannavaro lights out. But for me, that's the only change I make. Like I'd go 2-3 for Cannavaro, and then Buffon and Baggio at the top, because Baggio was something special, and there's only a few guys that could literally do that kind of shit. Go back and watch the goals. This isn't interplay shit. Like, this is Baggio versus 11. It was ridiculous. So that's it for me. Trim.
Yeah, I actually really, really liked that list. I thought it was pretty spot on for Ma, so shout out. But I think if I was to maybe make any kind of change, I'd have a hard time taking Cannavaro at the top spot, but I could make a case for Buffon to be number one, because between the two of them, he's the last line of defense. But again, he had a lot of help with the guys in front of him, so that's why Cannavaro gets the shout. The thing with Baggio for me is obviously they didn't win it in the end, but that being said, that was my first real football moment that I remember as a kid. So that's dating me and kind of explaining to you how young I was. That was literally the very first moment of football calcio for me. We had a cousin of mine who's obviously much older now coming from Italy and stayed with us at our home and stayed in my room at the time. I'll never forget. And I remember coming home from school or daycare or whatever it was at the time, and like standing in our kitchen, we had a small little TV, and that moment he hits the ball over the net. My cousin's probably like 17, 18 years old at the time, dropped to his knees, wailing, screaming and crying. And like, I remember being, like I said, 3-4 years old, looking at him like, what just happened? And so like that memory, that's a core memory I'll never forget. And it's hard to like take that away and not put that as the number one, especially like you said, based on his performance and that team and how they played. I think, didn't they lose to Ireland in that group stage, they lost a match and they still managed to.
Was it Ireland
to
or
get
was it
back.
Bulgaria? No, I think we beat
One
Bulgaria.
of the teams, I can't remember. Or maybe they played Ireland, they beat Ireland. It was the Bulgaria match. Either way, they had lost to a lesser team and like managed to regroup based on solely off the back of Baggio, right? But I think what ultimately does it for me in the end is, we'll always remember the teams that win, and it's hard. You don't want to like single out a one player on a team that they got right there, and because of the miss, that's what ends up. Ultimately in the end they fall short. But to Mitch's point, like had he scored, there were still other shooters after that. So it's not solely on him, but I think for me, nothing will take away from that 06 team. And it's just top to bottom. You can make a case for that entire Italian roster. And there's just, So between either Cannavaro or Buffon, I don't think there's a wrong choice.
It's an interesting call in here. Buffon should have gotten the Ballon d'Or over Cannavaro in 06.
Ooh,
Thoughts, boys? Agree, disagree?
You can make the argument.
You could make the argument if you're looking at club play, because Buffon was ridiculous. And Cannavaro was not – he was good that year. He was not like that for club. Like that Italy tournament was –
next level.
That was insane. That was insane from him. He was strong there, but Buffon was sick in 06. But whatever. I mean, goalies getting it. It would have been special to see Buffon get one. But yeah, the argument could be made there. Yeah, fun stuff. Good stuff, boys. We do have Storm the Barn. And we're short on time, so we're going to machine gun these. Let's go through this. Tired of fans not knowing the difference between player quality and form. One bad game and all players are ass, and I hear how Como has better players than us. Now the golden standard of CBs is Rachmani. Yeah, no. Rachmani is not the gold standard. That's why coaching matters. That's why making the most of your team. Like, you have to put it all together. It's crazy to me. I'm seeing a lot of rosters weaker than us playing better, more consistently. That has to stop.
One thing I just want to touch on quickly about Rachmani. Did you notice there was the one play where Yildiz had him one-on-one coming down the left flank? I believe it was in the first half. And I'm screaming at my TV, take him wide, beat him wide, run at him. He decides to try to like make a little cutback, and I think he tried to cross it into the middle. Like that alone shows you kind of the mentality that our players had going into that match. And it was just like you said, almost a scared or defeated mentality. Like if you're Yildiz, you're taking Rachmani one-on-one, you got to just drive the ball wide and just try to beat him. Stop trying to be cute.
But that's a confidence level too. Rachmani actually stepped up to him, played tight. He didn't retreat. He was obviously he was moving back with him, whatever, but he closed that gap quickly and he stayed with him at that gap. So there's a lot of defenders that back up on him, and Rachmani is nothing special and whatnot, but it shows you the level that Conte can get his players to play up to versus what we're getting with our guys, right? Yeah. So sooner or later, it just can't be that every single guy we have is shit, because I don't believe that that's true. But at the same time, holy shit, like, where's the balance here? There's such a lack of balance in Juve from roster, from like what we see on a game-to-game basis, from what we can get, which we see in flashes, to just this absolute like crash out in big moments every single time for like 4 years on the trot now. And it's different guys. It's not all the same players. There are some that have been here throughout, but it's just all over the map, right? Now,
and you've had different types of managers too, right?
Yeah.
In terms of mentality and how they get along with the players, right? So
I just also, like I said, for me, it's infuriating that no matter who the manager has been, though, it's just like throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Instead of like when something comes in and it goes good, whatever, we don't follow it up. The follow-up is so critical, and we just never do it.
No, you're taking two steps forward, two steps forward, 2 steps back, right? Like you're never there's no continuity, there's no building on the confidence of the prior games. It's
how is it going to change? How's it going to change? How will it change if you keep doing the same things over and over with the same people? It's never going to change. Like,
Yeah.
the story's out on Mac. You know he's better to the outside. Keep him there. Thuram's been on sleep mode. He's been on sleep mode for a while. Like, he's borderline not start. Give somebody else a start. Don't be scared. You're scared about what? You're scared about being weak in the middle? Guess what? Thuram was the weakest in the middle. Absolutely weak. It was pathetic. Beyond pathetic. Crashing into our own players. Forcing Kalulu into some crazy challenge that, fortunately, he didn't get red for. It's brutal. And Cambiasso, I'm just going to start calling him Casper. He's a fucking ghost. He's not Cambiasso anymore. It's Casper. And that's it. At least he's friendly ghost. Okay? But he's ghosting. And enough's enough. Has to stop. It's almost 2026 and Juve keeps that 2-player corner kicks, zonal market defensive corners. Yeah, you know what? Like, it's, again, taking away from players and going to coaching. This is a piece of evidence for me. Tudor comes in and says immediately, we got to work on set pieces. It's just not good enough, whatever. There's like no change and no improvement at all. Next guy comes in, no change, no improvement at all. It's crazy. When you're talking about fundamentals and basics, not being able to get a corner kick over the first defender is laughable at a Sunday league level. Guys that train day in and day out, it's just wild to me. But zone marking, defensive coverage is just ridiculous for me with this team. They need simple. They need as simple can get. Okay? Man-to-man, play it out that way, and even play the games out like that. Man-to-man, start beating the guy across from you. Otherwise, you got fuck all to say. And it's that simple for me. You can't beat the guy across from me. Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about tactics, formation, set. We're going to man up. Man-to-man, get the job done. It's been pathetic. How many times this season have we said the worst first half ever? Sounds like every week. Players need to be accountable too. I don't think there's anybody not holding players accountable. I mean, I think just in this session alone, we fired at management, coach, and players.
We touched on it all. Yeah.
It just hasn't been good enough.
No.
It just hasn't been good enough. You know? I want to get your guys' thoughts on something real quick before we wrap this up. Chiellini yesterday or a couple days ago in an interview, and we touched on it on the pregame show, said that the Juve of 10, 20 years ago is gone. The comparisons should not be made. It's not the same, and Italian football is in a different realm. So he's like, to think of them standing next to Real Madrid and whatnot, it's not like that anymore. That struck a chord with a lot of fans. Because a lot of fans are like, nah, now he's going the corporate route. He's like a shill for this management and everything and making excuses, etc. Then others are like, well, did he say anything that isn't actually true? It might sting, it might hurt or whatnot, but I shared some thoughts. We shared some thoughts on it, but does it strike a chord with you? Does it bother you? Because it bothered a lot of fans. And I just want to get your guys' take because you're fresh and you weren't part of that pregame show. Does it bother you? Mas?
To be honest, it's refreshing. I commend the guy for being honest and speaking to the fact that at this point in time, the team is nowhere near what we used to be, right? Everybody sees it. It's clear as day in terms of results, in terms of, worldwide prestige, in terms of all that stuff. Financially, we are still a powerhouse. We just don't really act like one, let's be honest. But I like the fact that he came out and said it because it's the reality of the situation. It's everybody can see it. Why are you going to beat around the bush, right? We're in a tough spot right now. He sees it, and hopefully he's going to be one of the guys that can right the ship at some point. being part of those great teams of the past, right?
Yeah. Trim, what do you think? Did it bother you?
I think it's how you look at it. We're all different in terms of like how we think and whatnot, but I think it's actually a good thing if it does bother you because it's the truth. Just like yesterday, bothered the hell out of me. Why? Because we didn't show up. We got our asses kicked in Napoli, which I hate that fucking team, and I expect to win those matches every time because they're mutts, and that's why it bothers me. So you have to kind of acknowledge that and let that stew and let that piss you off because you know what? That's what you hope would make you turn the corner and say, okay, what are we going to do to fix this and to rectify this and to get back to where we should be because we hold ourselves to such a high standard. So I actually don't look at it as a negative if it does bother you because it just signifies that you're acknowledging what's real and what's truth, which is that, yeah, it's not the same. I mean, just look back at the past 5 to 10 years, like he mentioned, just look at our results, look at our teams, the players we've had, the decisions management's made. You can go on and on and on down the list. I think, like I said, if you could just acknowledge that it does bother you, just realize that that's the fact. And it's like, okay, so what are we going to do to change that?
Yeah. And this is where I'm at with the whole thing. The reason it didn't bother me is it's nothing that we haven't acknowledged or said. It might sting people because they don't want to believe it. And maybe those are exactly the people that Chiellini's talking to let you understand that it's different. Like, it's different on so many levels. You want to stand next to Madrid. Chiellini's saying, and he followed it up by saying, we need to rebuild a winning cycle. We need to get to that next winning cycle. Juve didn't just win and win and win forever. There was cycles of winning. And then there was down cycles in between. So he's saying, we got to get back to that winning cycle. But he said to look at this Juve and make comparisons to Juve of old that were standing next to Real Madrid, it's not the same. Serie A had the best appeal of any league. Serie A right now, does it have the best appeal of all the leagues? Absolutely does not. Juve was a part of that. Juve had massive appeal because of who it was and because of Serie A. Money was never an issue. There was no financial fair play. Revenue, all that, we were fine. We were absolutely fine. So you had the appeal and you could spend and you could do whatever you wanted and you ran roughshod. Now all of a sudden you're in a world where FFP matters. We are not even close to the revenue that Real Madrid pulls in. It's a whole different stratosphere. It's a whole different world. That's all he's saying, is that it's completely different now navigating Juve as opposed to navigating back then. But he has not shied away from the fact that they need to get back to a winning cycle. How the hell that looks and how they do that, well, good luck and Godspeed. But I don't think that there's actually a problem with anything that he said other than the fact that some don't like it. And some just feel he's making excuses, whatever. I don't think he's making excuses. It's not an excuse to say that you're not on the level of those guys right now, and back then you were. There's a lot of different reasons why you're not at that level. But he didn't say that we just have to accept this and move forward like that's it. We're just never going to be on there. No, you got to build a winning cycle. And Camoli also followed up by saying, hey, you build a winning cycle. You start winning domestically, and then you start to evolve, and then you want to get after Europe. Ambitions need to be shown through actions, though, right? And we can all agree on that. Actions. Stick to actions, people. Let's not go too crazy on the words, okay?
Well, if you think about it, it would be a little hypocritical, this fan base, to, knock upper management for never coming out and speaking on certain things, and then turning around and knocking a guy from being honest when he came out and spoke about it, right? What was the biggest thing that fans have complained about with this management? There's no guy that comes out into the spotlight when things are going bad. Nobody's talking. Now you got a guy talking. He's just being honest. He's being up front with what everybody else sees, and now we're going to knock the guy for it. I don't buy it. Right?
Yeah. So Gio saying that we no longer have standards. Look at the fans. We praise West, talk about how great his work ethic is, as if it's something to praise. But here's the thing, Gio. If you show me 11 guys that work that way across the board in the lineup, the problem is they don't.
We wouldn't have
and
to praise
that's why it's an issue. Take Wes out of the equation. People are sticking too much to names. They're sticking too much to names.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that it's gotten to a point where we have to acknowledge guys that are working hard because it's not common across the lineup and the players coming in.
And that's a huge problem. Huge problem.
And I'd almost like counter the Chiellini thing to say that if you want to go and look back at how many guys were praised for work rate and ethic and like their work ethic and all this and played big parts in big teams for us that were nothing special as a player. Because you had a lot of those blue-collar, hard-working fucking guys that just were nothing special that got the job done because they went out there and did their job. The standards have slid because guys aren't doing their job, and we're fine with it. It's like the Juve is fine with it. Not us as fans, but this shit is just allowed to continue. That's the problem that drives me nuts. And that's the thing. That's the whole thing. You know? McKennie is garbage. Okay. Asamoah was a fucking superstar. Guy was junk. Played a big part though because he worked his ass. But he worked his ass off and played a part. Because we knew how to use him.
Yeah.
That's part of it too. Hey, to each their own though. To each their own. Now, let's machine gun like a couple, just see here. Holy shit, can we talk about Zhigrova? As soon as he's fit to start, he's dangerous. I felt like it was all him in the last 15 minutes. Game situation, do you think he could do a lot of damage for us? Is he ever going to get truly fit though? Like, what? I'm so frustrated with this thing, but I want to see him start a fucking game. I want to see him start a game.
Yeah, you see the potential every time he comes on, right?
I don't see why.
It's crazy because him and Chico are pretty much the only two guys outside of Yildiz that, you know, take on guys on this team and show you something in terms of flash and flair, right? But yeah, like you said, you got to hope that he's going to get to 100% at some point. Who knows?
Yeah. We've got something midweek Wednesday, Paphos, right? Why not start him with David and try to recreate some little Lille magic? Like we haven't even seen that yet. With Chico on the other side.
If he even can.
That's the thing,
start.
Though. Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
Yildiz and friends. That's what we are. Holy smokes. Yildiz and friends versus Paphos. Champions League midweek. Paphos is one of those must-wins in Champions League. Guys, what's your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 5? Chat, 1 to 5, confidence level in getting the job done in Paphos. What do you think?
Are we at home?
Yes.
Yeah. Geez, if we don't come out with a result in that game, I'm going to say a 4. I'll go 4.
0 from Mitch, 4 from Joe Tellerico, 4 from Ori, minus 99. Come on, 4.7 for Brute.
Guys, if we can't get a result against Paphos, then just shut it down, man.
Yeah, I'll go 4.
This isn't a club anymore, man. Are you kidding me?
I'll go 4. I'll go 4.
I'm gonna be a little different. I'm gonna go 3, only because yesterday's performance. But I don't know. And the sad thing is, I don't know if being at home is gonna boost that or not. Which it should in theory because we are the home team, but you know we see how we play sometimes at home, and just it's going to be mindset going in. That's going to be
last one. Mitch's If Agnelli takes over January 1st, 2026, what would he do? Let's go with what should he do. Let's say you are in Agnelli's shoes. You walk in January 1st. What do you do? Let's go.
Hire a sporting director.
Sporting director, okay. Mas, what do you do?
I'm wrapping J Medical with TNT and just bringing that son of a bitch down. Just down.
Okay, I'm getting like full everybody involved meeting right now. Okay. This is the list of the standards. You meet it or there's the door, get the fuck out. And we're switching back to this beast. Okay?
Yeah.
We're fucking going back. We're going back. Okay? That's it. That's immediately first fucking thing. And yeah, J Medical, I'm with Mas. I'm bringing Mas in.
Blow it up.
Strap that bastard with TNT. We're blowing that bastard up,
and burn down Content Creator Lab. Burn that down too.
The content creator. Yeah, hey, there's no more tiki-taka videos, okay? Toto the bus driver doesn't like the tiki-taka. So we're done with that. My God, get these guys training and stop telling us about Thanksgiving dinners and shit like that, okay? You do that on your own personal accounts, not the Juve account. I want to see you guys learn. You know what? I'll be thankful next Thanksgiving if you guys could fucking cross a corner kick past the first defender. Let's go with that, boys. Okay? Yeah. Man, it has to be so much better on so many levels. We're trying to have a little bit of fun. We're trying to have some laughs here and there. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. Juve finds themselves in a very difficult scenario. They can't seemingly turn the corner, and we keep hearing the same things. Players, Locatelli saying the same thing over and over and over that, hey, this isn't good enough. We need to do better. They can keep saying the same thing, but it doesn't mean shit if it doesn't actually change on the pitch. This is the first time I actually feel, though, that Spalletti was a detriment to the team and to the setup, and I think he got it completely wrong. It needs to be better from everyone involved, players and coach. All we can do as fans is just hope. Hope that we see that change. Hope that we see something ignite within this team. Let's hope that Spalletti learned his lesson, and let's see for the adjustments and changes from him. Yesterday we even asked, Skang asked a great question, said if you had to bank on one of these coaches, Conte or Spalletti, doing something, coming up with some type of surprise, who would you choose? Me and Omer both said Spalletti. Conte, you know what you're going to get, and it's going to be the same. Spalletti, he took his shot. He missed horribly. And the sad part is we don't have enough wiggle room to keep taking shots and missing. So let's hope that he gets it right from here on out. Let's hope he learned his lesson. And let's hope these players can sack up and at the very least fight, because that was one of the softest displays I've ever seen. So to everyone at Juve, I don't want to see no fucking TikTok videos this week, okay? All business against Paphos. Get that victory, and then you have another difficult matchup in Serie A that has to be 3 points. So let's go. Trim, Mas, absolute pleasure. Everybody in the chat, Army, you guys are the best. Drop a like in there. Hope you enjoyed the session, okay? And of course, I'll keep you up to date with the news in the build-up to Paphos, and then there will be a match day live and then a post-match podcast. No watch-along for Paphos, okay? But I'll be back at it for the weekend. You guys, hope you enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you real soon. As always, I'm Mas Cesar. Fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.